What is up, Retro Maniacs? Welcome to the Retro Card Chat Podcast. My name is Mike. I am from Mike's Retro Trading Cards, and I am woefully unprepared for this week. But thankfully, I'm joined by these two men. They are the beacons of light for my ship that's lost at sea. They are Joe Day and EP Eric Bahowick. How you doing, guys?
Doing great.
Great.
I've never been called a beacon of light before, though. I can tell you that. I feels pretty good.
I have
called a lot of things on here.
I'm often called a beacon of light, but like if you're woefully unprepared, I'm very nervous about what's going to happen over the course of the next hour or so. So we'll see.
Yeah, we may pull the curtain back a little too far at times on this podcast. Hey, you get what you get from us.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've had a little bit of a stressful weekend so far. So just a lot of stuff going on. Started my Baseball Mania stack sale. We'll have run it on Saturday and Sunday night by the time this comes out. And I still have all this week and next weekend. So if you want to check out my stack sale on Twitter at Mike's Upper Deck 1, feel free. I'll be there selling some really cool cards for 50 cents. So yeah.
And I heard the money is going towards a new mattress. Mike's back is killing him, kids. Come on, you gotta buy some of those cards up. You really need to help Mike out with that. He needs a firm king size mattress. So.
I really do, yeah.
I took a screen grab of this. The one year post was like three rows of cards on $1 cards. I'm like, just like every single one of them, just awesome. Like just really cool. Like some Griffey stuff in there. Like some really awesome stuff. Like,
yeah, I have
a lot of fun.
I do have really good inventory for this sale, and I'm not even probably going to get to half of it by the time it's over. But yeah, definitely would appreciate if anybody wants to check it out. I bought more stuff too. Yard sales started over the weekend, and there were yard sales in two different directions that had sports cards. So like here I had to try to figure out. I decided to go the one direction, missed some video games and stuff, just missed them at a yard sale. And then I went to the other, and oh boy, had a lot of stuff there and a lot of junk baseball, and I bought a lot of it. So and yeah, if you look, it's kind of over my shoulder here. See that tub? That's one of the 3 tubs I bought. I actually bought a tub of Tough Stuff magazines and baseball magazines. Yeah, and stuff. But hey, hopefully I'll sell it. I don't know. Trying to hide
You're starting off well.
I am. So
I'm sure it'll keep that.
I'm selling stuff I bought like 6 months ago, but yeah, maybe I should stop buying. But with yard, I mean,
it's like a little savings account, man. It's like a little savings account. You put in that money 6 months ago, and now you're getting those dividends.
Yeah,
something like that. So what's new with you guys?
I just got back from a work conference, so you may have noticed at the top of the show I did not crack open a beer. The liver is tapping out. I need to give it a week. It was a work conference, but then hospitality suites at night.
Right? Yeah.
Well, during the day it was work, but at night, you have people opening up suites we were at Seven Springs, so there's all sorts of alcohol flowing. So took advantage of that a little bit too much, and I'm on the water coffee train today.
Wow. Okay.
I had a couple days this week where I even told you guys, hey, I'm sorry, I can't. I'm way too busy at work, and I worked until 4:30 a.m. Friday night was Saturday morning. So I had a kind of rough week at work, but I am at a point now where I have a serious need to order some supplies for like shipping. Like these are all of the PWEs I have left total. Out of a 300 count box, so that I got from maybe a year ago at this point. So I'm in very much a need to get some of this stuff, and I'm debating whether to get a thermal printer for labels, thermal label. I'm at that point where I have it in my cart, thinking about it. So
yeah, I am too. I mean, between buying the ink and I buy like the adhesive labels, like it's a lot of money. Like I might as well just buy one. I'll save money pretty quickly, but just haven't done it yet.
See, I don't sell the bulk that you guys have, so I'll like sell a couple of things that are a little bit more expensive, but they won't. I don't need to print off like 50 labels, so I just print them, cut them out, and and use the packing tape to put them on. But yeah, as much as you guys sell, it would probably make sense for both of you.
I feel like if you're doing more than one a day, probably would save you a ton of time and the money thing, obviously, like with like you said, the ink and paper, ink and labels.
Yeah, ends up being quite a bit of money, and I know it is. Like every time I go to order more labels, I'm like, I think a box of like 200 labels, they're 2 on a sheet, so you don't always even get 200 out of them, because if you end up with an odd number of orders, you cut that one off and you lose that. So yeah, and they're like, I don't know, like $25 for that. So yeah, probably should look into a cheaper option. But that's not what we're here to talk about this week. We're here to talk about cards, right?
Did we start the pod?
Did, yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, I think I did my whole intro.
Okay, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Told you, woefully unprepared. But I did see, and I'm sure everyone's pretty much seen, that Derrick Carr was sent a Justin Herbert Immaculate 1/1 shield to sign by accident. And instead of just sending it back to Panini, he thought he'd have a little bit of fun. And he signed his name on it, and he inscribed it with the score of the 2021 game late in the season that got the Raiders into the playoffs and kept the Chargers out of the playoffs. So did that, sent it back to Panini, and thought that Panini would probably just laugh it off and, send one to Justin Herbert, but it didn't work out that way. They actually put it in the product, and somebody who bought the Justin Herbert spot ended up pulling that card in a break.
Oh, like I didn't know it was that. I didn't know it was a break.
Yeah, it was in a break.
Yeah. Oh man.
So yeah, I mean, that's a pretty unique collectible, right?
Talk about 1/1, man. Like that is the 1/1 of all 1/1s, right?
That's an
like,
eBay 1/1 even.
Yeah.
That's how important that card is.
And Derrick Carr said that Panini was like, they were savage for putting it into the product. So he thought it was pretty funny that they did that. But I mean,
whoa. I love that Derrick Carr is coming from a place that he thinks Panini was intentionally putting in there to be savage.
I know.
Panini has such terrible quality control. They probably thought it was Justin Herbert's autograph. I think there's no doubt in my mind. They just
in fairness, like the person working there may have had no idea. Yeah.
Do you also think though, like they thought, oh, this is an amazing opportunity to send this really weird, crazy card? Obviously, it's gonna take off a Herbert fan. But anybody who's not a Herbert fan, I mean, Herbert's a huge money, so in a break, like you're hoping to get a
it's
Herbert
gonna piss off the person that bought that break spot. Is what it's gonna do.
But
I mean,
if I'm opening that, I guess I would be.
That's the question. Like, what would you do if that were your card? Like, would you want? If you bought the Justin Herbert spot, would you want the Justin Herbert autograph of that card, or would you want to keep this because of the uniqueness of it?
I mean, I want the Herbert card to sell it, but to keep, man, like that.
But you could sell this one too. What do you think would be worth more?
I mean, Herbert fans would not want it, so they probably won't sell.
I feel like if you want a Justin Herbert for your collection, you probably want the Herbert. But if you're looking to sell, I don't know, this might be worth more than the plain old Justin Herbert signed one, right? I mean, it's a big money card.
It's got to be a Derrick Carr fan, not a Raiders fan, because he's not there anymore, right? I mean,
also just a football fan. Like, I think it's an amazing collectible. Like so unique. Like, there's nothing like that out there. Is there? Has this ever happened before?
Not
probably.
Not that I know.
Probably has,
probably
but not at this level. Definitely. I mean, people go crazy for like the Billy Ripken card with F face on the bat and
the C3PO card.
There's a lot of stuff out there. So like this is a 1/1. This is truly the only one. Like I have a feeling 20 years from now, 30 years from now, people talking about cards will remember this card.
That's true.
Right? So
that's true.
I feel like value wise, I think it might be worth more than Justin Herbert, right?
Especially it's not
especially in a long
rookie.
Term. Yeah,
it's not a rookie card. So if it was a Justin Herbert 1/1 rookie card, I think there's a debate to be had that's probably would be worth more with Herbert's signature. With it being a second year card or a third year card, whatever. I mean, at that point, probably the uniqueness of it might push that above a normal second or third year card of Justin Herbert, right? I mean,
Yeah,
it's
probably.
still, and we're having fun with it, and it does have some value, but it's like Panini just backed into a valuable card by screwing up, right? Like it's not like this was not something they intended to do, and it goes to more their seemingly weekly terribleness at quality control. I mean, it's fun, it's cool, it probably has value, but not intentionally. And
In
they put
fairness,
this
we don't know for sure. Like,
Right.
no, we can't really say either way whether it was accidentally put in because they weren't looking or somebody made the decision. You know what? That's a
then
really
they should
unique
come out and say
collectible.
that
Let's throw that in
regardless.
there. And I mean, it'll get a lot of press for our product. Not that everybody's going to be running out and buying immaculate
Right.
because we can't, but still,
Right.
Right.
like it does, get your name out there.
Then
I
you
don't know.
hope Panini would take credit for it, regardless if they did it intentionally or not. They should go out there and say, "Oh yeah, that was totally intentional. We thought this would be really cool," and then
It
just
would be
take
really
credit for it.
cool if then on top of that they said we actually have the Justin Herbert autograph. Here's the actual autograph.
Well,
So it's
that's
the
what
person that got
that's
it.
what I was gonna say. I was
Yeah.
gonna say if Panini should do the right thing and send that person the right card too. Like let
Right.
them keep that card and send them the Justin Herbert. Like correct it, but don't make him send that card in. I think
Right.
that would
Right.
be a great way to create goodwill. You're doing something good for the hobby, and like you want to keep that card in the hobby. Like
Oh yeah.
you don't want that to be pulled out of the hobby. So that's not an option. Obviously, I don't think for anybody that pulls that unless they were a diehard Justin Herbert
Right.
fan and they hate Derrick Carr for doing that so much. They're
Right.
like, I'll show
Right.
you. Who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe they'll burn it on camera. You never know.
I would
Um,
struggle to sell it. Like I would want to keep it as like that. That's so
Mhm.
unique, such a cool thing. Mike, I was gonna ask you, what would you do? Like what would your
I would love to have it. And like, honestly, it would draw a lot of attention to you if you had it. Like,
Right.
you would now be a pretty well known person in the hobby. But at the same time, if somebody's going to offer a ridiculous amount of money for that card, I think
Yeah.
you can take the money, right? You got it.
Right. Like for me, if it was like Kenny Pickett, if they beat the Bengals and he got a Joe Burrow card, that I would really want to keep. Like that I think would be fun. The best part about this whole card, though, it's actually an on-card auto, right? It's not a sticker,
Mhm.
Yeah.
which is impressive for Panini. It's usually sticker autographs in
Yeah.
this product, I think. But yeah, I think I would I would sell it. There's no doubt in my mind I would sell it. I would probably send it to Kenny Golden. He can walk over to Times Square,
Times
hold it
Square.
up. This is the most important card of a generation, and sell it for me on his platform.
Definitely good. Not that he's ever done that before.
No, never.
Okay, so we had a lot of fun with this, but I need to bring this up because Joe, we had the discussion once before about whether or not players are sent cards to sign or if they're being signed like at the stadium. Derrick Carr confirmed that he was sent the cards by Panini to sign and send back, and he got this card by accident. The only problem is if you turn the card over, clearly says that, Panini guarantees the autograph on the card.
Mhm.
The bigger issue here, and it's not just related to Derrick Carr, how are you guaranteeing an autograph if you're sending players a stack of cards, you're trusting them to sign them and send them back? Nobody's witnessing this. You don't know who's signing it. Now you like the problems we've seen, the auto pens and the Lucas moms and the stuff like that are really starting to come into focus because they like, and I'm not saying it's specific to Panini. Like this is a problem I think hobby wide, that they're just sending cards to players and trusting that they're going to do the right thing and not have somebody else sign them. And that's a huge issue because like really any autograph we pull, are we sure that athlete actually signed the autograph anymore? The answer is not 100%.
Right. I mean, it's a good point because at the end of the day, we knew this was Derek Carr signing it. Like that's what makes this kind of a fun story. But on the other side of it, it's like, what if someone just said, "Oh, Justin Herbert," and just signed his name to these cards and sent them back, and it's clearly it wasn't clear that it wasn't signed by Justin Herbert because no one was there to witness it. And I think I brought this up the last time we were talking about an auto that got authenticated that wasn't authentic or something to that effect. I said I understood during COVID that you can't be, it would be very difficult to witness people signing cards. I'll tell you what, I take that all back. It's not. We're here talking on a Zoom, right? Or on StreamYard. Why can a Panini representative or Topps or Fanatics or whatever zoom in and watch someone sign these? Do something. The technology is there. It used to be they would go to like the rookie photo shoots and they would sign those things. They would take pictures of the rookies. They would go to the stadiums and have players sign cards in front of them. The big the photo of Mark Ingram wearing the 20 or 30 jerseys. I'm guessing that was also a signing event, so there are opportunities. We're out of COVID. We also have this technology that we got because of, we use more now because of the pandemic. Like, there are ways to witness whether players are signing these cards themselves or not. Why are they not? Why are these card companies not doing that? Fanatics needs to change that. When they get the licenses, we are paying too much for products. This one was fun. This was a fun story. We are paying way, way, way too much for products to have something like this happen where you're not guaranteed that the auto you get in a pack that probably costs $2,000 is not who they say it is.
I think in my opinion, the biggest takeaway from this is there is absolutely no way this is the first time and only time that this has happened, right? Like, this has probably happened many, many, many times to many, many other people, and this is the first time that we've figured out it's been made apparent to us. So, like, what has happened in the past? Is this why we have redemptions for some of these things? I mean, like, and I think, like you said, like, I'll just sign Justin Herbert's name, and I couldn't see anybody at the company saying, just sign Justin Herbert's name for us and send it back to us. I couldn't see them doing that, but I mean, like, I could see the situation where the incorrect person signs it. It's a scary thing to think about. I think, to answer your initial question, Mike, I think it's like a 50-50 that we're actually getting the auto of the person that is on the card. Like, I would like to think that at least half are doing what they're supposed to be doing. And Joe, even if they required a recording, like a video recording of them signing, when you send the cards back, please send it also on the video recording of you signing the cards. Like, that would also be something in other ways.
Just give us something. Right. Don't just trust that these players who don't take, for the most part, I don't think players take cards seriously. I don't. I think there are a handful that do. Obviously, someone like an AJ Dillon.
Right.
But I think Derrick Carr,
Fanatics have changed that, though, because of the way they do
that's
things.
That's why I'm saying Fanatics really needs to hopefully change that. But I think some people don't take cards seriously. That Derrick Carr looked at this card, saw it was a 101, didn't care. He didn't care.
Yeah. Doesn't mean anything to him.
He signed it, made a big joke out of it. And again, it was funny, and it's something that there's buzz around. But that being said, if the people that you're putting on these cards aren't taking the cards themselves seriously, then they have no incentive to take signing those cards seriously. So if Fanatics is going to make them part of it and financially part of it, they need to make sure that they are signing these cards in some way, shape, or form. Recording, live stream, a witness physically being there. Something has to be done because these cards are too expensive. This product is too expensive. And this was immaculate. It's not even the most expensive product. This could have been flawless. What's that? $10,000 for a box of cards? I mean, come on.
Panini, especially with the prices they're charging. I mean, compared to Topps prices for their baseball stuff, like, how are they not doing better? Like,
this is a high-end product, and you're just sending the cards out to players to sign and trusting they are. And like, I shouldn't have to send a card I get out of a pack to PSA or BGS to have the autograph authenticated. Like, that's a joke. I mean, people do it though because of this, and they want to know for sure. And we've seen that PSA or BGS at times say, this doesn't look right to us, and they're probably right. It blows your mind. And what again, they says Panini guarantees this, or if it's Topps or whoever it is, I'm not just picking on Panini here, but what's that mean that you guarantee it? Like,
Right.
You
If you
guaranteed
don't,
that card was signed by Justin Herbert, and it was clearly not signed by him.
right.
But the card said it does. But like as a consumer, that guarantee is worthless. They would clearly go to court and say, "No, we just put that on there, just like they
Right.
do with the redemptions."
With the redemption thing.
Like
Right.
tell me
Exactly.
what your guarantee is. Like if you're putting these cards out, you're saying you guarantee it. What does that mean? Like what
Mhm.
does your guarantee mean? If that information's out there, I haven't seen it. And they all do it, all the companies do it, but like are you going to financially compensate me if it's not
Right.
real? Are
Right.
you going
Am
to
I getting
replace
fair?
it? What are you doing?
Is that guy getting fair market value of what that Justin Herbert should be worth if that's a guaranteed Justin Herbert autograph? And it's
Yeah.
Derrick Carr clearly. Like what is the recourse that that person actually has? I mean, in this case, I think it's a different can of worms because it is something different and kind of funny. But like with the Dak autos, when he was clearly doing an auto pen, was it PSA who called that out? I mean, we give a lot of crap to some of these companies, but like PSA and BGS, but I mean, it is a sad state of affairs when you have to get an authentic autograph authenticated by a grading company
Yeah.
because you're not sure that whatever company you pulled that autograph from actually is is guaranteeing it. I mean, they're saying they are, but they're not. They're not going to give this guy anything. They
And
might
with
because of the backlash that's happened. But how many are out there, like EP said? How many are out there that probably aren't who they say they are? And
Yeah, because of
they're not
all
getting
the
anything.
autographs that are in the market anymore, all of them that come out of products, you have to figure there's some people out there like we know CD Lamb didn't want to sign his cards for Leaf, right?
All right.
So does he want to sign them for any other product? Does he have friends that he says, just sign these for me? Like,
Right.
there are people out there. I'm sure there's some players, right or wrong, that don't want to be bothered with having to do this
Right.
and may have other people do it. And not saying it's right, but I do kind of understand that they might feel that way. I think they're wrong for feeling that way, but we're being realistic here. I'm sure there are people that, if you're making how many millions of dollars a year, maybe sometimes you don't want to be bothered signing.
Especially some of these autos. Have you seen like their initials?
Yeah.
Like, I'm
Some of
sorry,
them
that's
aren't
not
even that. They're just
right.
a little scribble on there.
A little scribble, but how easy is it? I'll throw James Conner under the bus, hail to Pip, but I mean, his is JC. It's literally just a J and a C. He could get his third cousin twice removed to do that autograph, and it would still look like it's just a J and a C for God's sakes. I mean, so how? And then you have the picture of the guy who had like what it looked like thousands and thousands of
Yeah,
cards
the
that he had to
baseball
sign.
player. Yeah.
The baseball player, and you're thinking, yeah, I can understand if he wanted.
Yeah, I don't
Again,
want
I
to
don't agree
sign
with it.
those.
Right.
I can
Yeah.
understand if in his mind he's like, nah, I don't want to sign those. Here,
Mhm.
everyone take a pile. Take a pile, everyone,
Yeah.
and we'll sign
Do
these.
you guys think? I mean, I'm not sure how much further we're going to go with this discussion, but do you think? I mean, the solution probably is fewer autos that have somebody witness the autograph happening. But do you guys think the hobby would be okay with having fewer autos in product?
No.
No, they'd rather
Well,
have
it
fake
depends on what
autos
it
than
depends on what the price is, though. Like if you're going to charge what you're charging and not have like 5 autos in a box of flawless or whatever it is. I mean, yeah, I mean, there's no way you could charge what you're charging for that at that point. I mean, you look back, what 1999 SP Authentic was what, like $100 a box, probably. It had one
Yeah, a
auto.
little over. Mhm.
So but that's what we were used to then. Now people open up a box of cards, they expect multiple autos, sometimes the RPAs, and sometimes some of the one-on-one shields and things like that. They want these high-end products to have a lot of autos in them. And what's the expression? You can't put the toothpaste back in the tube, kind of thing. We've like that's what it is now.
Yeah.
That's what our hobby is. It's autos, it's mem cards, it's all of those things, and people will lose their shit if they don't have that and like 50 colored parallels.
See, I think also for that kind of stuff, like you can't cut corners with when you're talking about a product like Flawless or National Treasures, like you should be taking those cards to those players, having them sign them, and then taking the cards away. Like there should be no question. I was talking more along the lines of like the stuff you pull out of like a blaster box and a lot of that sort of stuff. Those sorts of autos, I think the issue is that that's why you see players with thousands of cards stacked around them, because they need to sign so many cards for all this product. I was thinking along the lines of those where I agree 100%. Like if you're talking these higher end ones, like they should be taking them in a briefcase, opening that up, letting them sign, then taking the briefcase away. Like that should be like one person's job to go around and get those autographs in the off season or whatever. That's in my opinion.
Even like the football players are at practice every single day during the season. They're at the games. Like you probably don't want to bother them on game day, but I feel like you do have a lot of opportunity to get them to sign some of this stuff during the season.
Camp.
Yeah. Like, and I feel like, that's where I feel like the card company needs to have a relationship with the league and the players and the card company all work on this together and come up with a way to say, okay, on this day, this group of guys, you're going to go in for a couple hours here and sign stuff for the memorabilia for our partner. Like I feel like it has to be a little more like organized and run a little better and like be a joint effort between the players, the league, and the trading card company, which will be Fanatics in a couple of years. So like there's a lot of work that needs to be done there, and let's hope Fanatics can fix that. They're saying they want to, but I mean we'll have to wait and see, but something has to be done.
It's like Hard Knocks. We'll watch Hard Knocks every year. It's I want to see on an episode of Hard Knocks the coach saying, all right, did everyone do their signings today? Like you realize how important this is. Make sure you get your cards and stickers and stuff like that signed so we can get them back to the company. Like that should be a thing during training camp that they get done. And then that there's no question about it. If those players are there, they're going to sign cards, and then have, free agents, maybe have a media day where free agents come in and sign stuff too. I mean, there needs to be some structure. And that's, I think, what's been lacking here the last few years, especially, again, they can use the pandemic as an excuse, but there needs to be some sort of structure in place going forward.
Yeah, Mike, I think you've said a number of times about Fanatics being this like big boy company with big boy money, and I feel I'm probably overly confident, but I feel pretty confident that they're going to be able to get this done. They have the deal already with the team, with the league, with the players, like with teams, players, and then the league. Like I mean, like if anybody's going to do it, it's probably going to be Fanatics. If anyone's going to fix it, it's going to be Fanatics.
And I might be a Fanatics fanboy, and people might think I'm on the payroll, and maybe I am. Maybe
if you
I'm
are,
not.
I better get some of that scratch, baby.
But like the thing is, like one good thing about having an outside company coming into our hobby is they can look at things with a different lens. Like maybe realizing that the way that things are done aren't the best way to do it, and coming up with better alternatives. So let's all hope. Like I don't know what the Fanatics reign is going to turn out to be, but I know there are a lot of issues that need to be fixed. That, let's be real, Tops before they were bought and Upper Deck and Panini weren't going to fix. They're just cruise control. They're printing money. They're just happy to do stuff the way they did it, whether good or bad. They're like, you're going to buy it. So maybe
that's another
a new company coming in will help.
That's another point I was going to make. It's like, is this going to stop anyone from buying any of these products? No. I mean, they don't care, because in their minds, there's a better than even chance they're not going to get a Derrick Carr auto and a Justin Herbert at this point. But I mean, they're going to keep going out and buying the stuff. They're still going to lay out $2,000 for a box of cards, and it's crazy. But again, card collectors have a very very low willpower when it comes to products and ripping wax and
they really do. All right, well, we'll move on to some PSA news this week. Did you see there's an ultra modern grading special for cards for 2022 and 2023? $16 a card. I know you guys love to rip your ultra modern. I'm sure you've been waiting for this. You probably have piles of stuff ready to send in. You guys are good to go. What are we doing here?
That's you, EP. You're Mr. Ultra Modern.
Mr. Retail. Literally, your card literally has ultra in the name of the cards that you just bought. Ultra is in the name. Ultra Modern, Ultra Fleer, Ultra.
Yeah, but it has to be a
since
sports.
1991.
Yeah, has to be sports cards. So.
I don't have anything I want to send in. at
EP,
that price.
you open up a case. Don't
I
even give
did.
me crap about my ultra modern
I
purchasing. You
I
bought
sent
a
in
case
a
of
bunch
ultra
for
modern.
$9 to SGC, and
So
so
this
I
is that opens up a good point. So are we thinking this is like a direct shot over the bow at SGC doing the specials? Right.
Well,
I
they
mean,
really haven't
could
done
be.
anything for ultra modern, and that is a
Mhm.
big part of their business. So I'm not going to say no, because with Bowman baseball coming out,
right.
and with some of the football products that were released, Prism and stuff recently, I feel like they probably know there are people out there that have a lot of stuff they're waiting to send in. So probably the right time to do it. I mean, not really something any of us. I know I don't have 20 ultra
No,
modern cards
no,
to
I don't
send
either.
in, but I mean, I'm sure there are people out there
Mhm.
that have been waiting for this, that have huge piles that are. So
Yeah.
probably is the right time in the rotation to go to that kind of deal.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, this is not like the product that I buy is not. It's still not viable to send in at $16 a card. Top series one is not, and a big league is not.
Mhm.
So I feel like there are probably a lot of people who bought maybe a box of Prism football or Prism basketball or Revolution basketball or any one of those like higher end products where you only get one pack for $500 and stuff like that. There are people that buy that and they've been waiting for a good deal, maybe.
Though, if you're buying a pack for $500, are you really waiting for a good deal?
Probably not. So I'm not
I
sure.
mean,
One of my questions is: do you think this puts them in trouble where all of a sudden they're overloaded again, or do you think they're going to be able to handle it?
I think they'll probably be pretty busy, but I
Mhm.
think they'll be able to handle it. Like, stuff might slow down a little bit, but I think maybe, we saw they graded 1.2 million cards last
yeah.
month.
Yeah.
So maybe they thought, okay, we can do this. So
Let's
When
see if
you
we can
only
get to
look at
2 million.
when you only look at a
yeah,
card for 10 seconds, I'm sure you can zip right through a bunch. Um, no, so when's the Leighton break with SGC? When is that occurring?
It's a little bit early. I think it's like maybe a week early. Or maybe the weekend before, something like that. The release. So the release is the 26th. So it'd be the weekend before that, or something like that.
And
So
that was one of
next
the other
weekend
reason
maybe.
I thought maybe PSA was thinking, they're doing Leighton and Fanatics and SGC are doing this thing. It's an ultra modern product. I'm not saying it's the only reason they're doing this, but it wouldn't surprise me if they saw SGC's numbers go up. And when you're the biggest in town, you don't want to see anyone improve. You want to squash that bug and hope to put them out of business, I'm guessing. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's a little ancillary benefit to them for running an ultra modern special when SGC has been running ultra modern specials with the baseball products.
Yeah, I don't think there's there's correlation between Bowman coming out in like 2 weeks or whatever and
oh yeah,
this deal. Yeah, 100%.
it'll be interesting to see the kind of numbers that they get from that too. I have a feeling they're probably going to get a lot of cards. It'll
Oh
be
yeah.
interesting too to see if they extend it like they have the
Mm.
other deals or not. So,
Right.
Do you think the three of us combined could come up with 20 ultra modern cards to send? I might have
probably.
one.
I
I think
Probably
I have
not 20 that are worth
Yes,
sending.
Right.
I easily could do 20, but I
Yeah.
don't think it'd be worth sending for 16. No.
one.
I opened up a little bit of Stadium Club Chrome, so I do have a couple cards. But yeah, my Wander Franco X Fractor rookie has like the X Fractor print line going down it, so I'm not going to grade that. So that's a good thing, though. I don't have to grade it now. I don't have to worry
Right.
about grading it.
Yep. Exactly.
But in other PSA news, I know EP, you and I both saw the Sports Collectors Daily news about PSA getting $125 million line of credit, which, that's really not the news we were interested in.
Right.
They're getting more money, though, for acquisitions. But one of the things that in that article that surprised both of us was it talked about their new Tokyo, Japan grading facility that will be opening. I had no idea. Like, I mean, it's huge for them to have
Yeah.
like a presence in that market over there in Asia, but holy cow, like how did I not know about this?
Right.
Maybe I'm just too old to know, but wow, that was a surprise to me, and wow, big move.
Yeah, because they just announced the one in New Jersey like last year, like last year, right? Wasn't it last year they announced that one
Yeah.
too? So yeah.
And they opened up something in the Netherlands, but it wasn't a grading facility, right? It was
No,
like
that was a submission center.
submission center. Okay. So this is a full on grading facility like they have in
That's
California.
what the article said. So, and apparently they're considering opening more grading facilities in the U.S. too.
Yeah.
Which they're already grading 1.2 million. Like, you joked about grading 2 million a month, but
Right.
I don't know. Maybe 6 months from now, we won't be laughing at that.
Yeah, maybe PSA is looking to 10x their grading.
Yeah,
Just
Right.
like Fanatics looking to 10x the hobby. I mean,
if Fanatics is going to 10x the hobby, PSA is like, okay, game on, we'll do it.
hold my beer.
Wow.
Tokyo, here we come.
It's funny to me at some point, right? It's going to come back to it's got to come back down to earth. Are people going to be like 20 years down the road, or is grading cards still going to be a thing? Like, is it going to be as prevalent as it is now? Because in my mind, I'm just thinking of those old. We talked about this a couple weeks ago, I think, Mike, you and I, about like old amusement parks that are like abandoned. It's going to be like old PSA grading centers are going to be abandoned, and people like old people walking through them like they mall walk and stuff like that. Like,
going to be horror movies based in
horror movies based in them. There's going to be some sort of Night of the Living Dead at the PSA Submission Center in Japan. I mean, I don't know if it will be as prevalent in 20 years, but man, oh man, they're grabbing onto that star and going for the riding the wave here over the next few years.
I wonder if
go ahead, EP. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I wonder if Tokyo has more access to the hard plastic, and maybe there's like a logistics thing where putting one there makes sense, because then they don't have to get something shipped that they always have to get shipped over to where they are.
They're going to make me still ship my cards to Tokyo. They're going to make they're like, oh, Joe Day submitting something. Have him send it to Tokyo.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, we don't have any details on it. It's just a little blurb in an article about something else. But I know, like, the basketball, the NBA is like huge over in the Asian market.
yeah.
So I would imagine they're probably interesting grading cards over there.
Tmall? Is it
Tmall? Yeah.
Tmall? Is that that's a Asia-based product, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Topps does a bunch of Asia, like they do like versions that are for Asia, like
and
Pokemon,
right? I mean,
Pokemon,
gotta be
massive. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So
so
makes sense. Makes sense.
A lot of people collecting a lot of cards
market.
over there.
It's a huge market over there.
And I mean, it would cost them a fortune. I'm sure some people are sending them to America to get graded, but wow.
Right.
I mean, as much as we kind of make fun of PSA and like point out their flaws, like, as a business, like, they have really grown. Like, it is amazing, like, the job that Nat Turner and his crew's done with that business. Like, they went from a company who had to completely shut down because the previous owners weren't able to grade the demand that they had coming in. Completely shut down. Everything looked so bleak for so long, but now here we are, like, 2 years later, and like, they're thriving and growing and opening up in new markets, and like, it is pretty impressive when you stop and think about it. So,
oh yeah, as much as I want to shit on their quality control and their poor grading and stuff like that, I mean, from a business point of view, they're unstoppable. They're too big to fail. They're unstoppable.
Yeah, they really are getting
like
that point.
Like a freight train.
Yeah, they are. Like, it's them, and everybody else is like way behind. Like,
right. We
there's
talk
no
about
chance.
We talk about SGC and isn't it cute? They're doing this team up with Fanatics, and they're gonna be grading like almost 80,000 cards, and PSA is like, seriously, 80,000.
Yeah,
I have one guy doing that in a week. You know, like, it's just it's nuts.
Yeah, I'm sure you guys have seen the comparisons where people say this is what a billion people looks like compared to like a 1,000 or something like that, with like a graphic. I want to see that with 1.2 million cards versus
this
like
is what we grade, and this is what everybody else grades.
Everybody else combined is like this little square down here.
Yeah,
but that's why at the end of the day, you kind of expect the quality control to be pretty bad. Right? I mean, you're grading so many cards. It's bound to happen. Like, the cases come in all scratched up and scuffed, and people talking about things being mislabeled and grades being kind of out of whack. You have that many employees, you grade that many cards, it's bound to happen.
Yeah,
it's bound to happen.
In fairness to them, like, if you're grading that many more cards than everybody else, you are going to have more people complaining because of the volume you're doing. Like, if SGC was grading 1.2 million a month, do you think we might hear a lot more about issues people are having with SGC? Yeah, because they're grading more cards.
And they're also going to get more 7s and 8s, right?
Mhm.
Like they're like
Yeah,
people are, because people are
absolutely.
going to send in more cards that probably shouldn't be graded because they noticed them
We're
in
not
PSA.
hearing from the people that got grades they feel like they should have got. So, like, yeah, like having an order being delivered to me tomorrow, I shouldn't say any of this, but yeah,
Wow,
It's already been
really
shipped. It's already been
touching.
shipped.
well,
You're good.
yeah.
You're
Well,
good.
I mean, at least it'll be entertaining for the viewers.
Is that the one
to
that we have some
see me
cards in,
cry.
or is that another
No.
one, Mike?
No,
That's
this,
another
he
one.
sent
My
two
my
other ones.
non-sport and trading card game order is coming in tomorrow. So
Okay.
hopefully if my wife's here to sign for it, because I probably won't be around, and they send it FedEx and you have to have somebody there to sign for it. So we'll see. Hopefully I'll have it tomorrow. But yeah. But like I was gonna say, I shouldn't say this, but yeah, like you're gonna hear more people complaining about their grades because there are more cards. So you're gonna have a couple more people out there going, well, I didn't think this was a 7, but you're not hearing from the people that got an 8 because they thought it was going to be an 8. So
or the people that got a 10 that thought it was going to be an 8. You don't hear many of those people complaining either.
And I'm gonna have all the 7s and 5s and 2s tomorrow.
Just for the viewers to know, every time Mike says this, every time Mike says, "Oh, this is going to be terrible," he gets like 70% 10s. It's bound to happen.
I'm not feeling good about this one.
It's like your stack sale last night. Oh, I don't think I'm gonna sell any cards, guys. And all of a sudden, I sold like $200 worth of 50-cent cards. Yeah,
I'm still down. All right, so wanted to have a little discussion with you guys. There's been some content being made and stuff about the card market. I know that Jeff Wilson a couple months ago pronounced the bottom was here. So I've also seen people like Sports Card Radio and Sports Card Dad saying, nope, bottom's not here yet. We're still dropping. The thing that made me want to talk about this is I thought it was kind of like amazing, actually, that Prism Hobby Basketball, which was a little lower price to begin with this year, has been dropping on the secondary market. I saw there was sale for $599.99, so it was under $600. The football, I looked up the price of that. That's selling like $625, $630 range. That was what, $750 a box when it came out. But like the point being here, though, we haven't seen that with this product before. Like that stuff wasn't dropping in price. It wasn't the lower price to begin with, low relatively compared to when it was inflated, but still, like I think the market is definitely changing. We all talked when we first got back into this about the bubble will burst. I don't know if it's bursting. I know EP, you have a little bit of a different opinion about it, but I think there's a lot of indicators out there that, you know, there should be some concern for certain groups of people.
Oh, I agree 100%. Like the high end stuff. To call it a bubble, though, like I realize that that's the term, but like it's just normalizing back to the post pandemic situation. So I feel like bubble bursting makes it sound a little more dramatic than I'm comfortable with. But yeah, prices are going back to what they should be, and I think maybe Prism.
But wasn't the COVID market inflation, the bubble being inflated, and then it burst and went back to being just bubble gum?
Sure.
Just bubble gum. I do want to make one point about the Prism football, and I can't speak to basketball. I really don't know anything about the draft class or anything like that. But no offense to my boy Kenny Pickett, though I'm not wearing my Pitt hat today. No offense to my boy Kenny Pickett. Mike's a Temple alum, in case you kids weren't sure. But the draft class from last year was not good. I mean, it's all based on quarterback, right? And Kenny was the only first rounder. I mean, I guess people were excited about Brock Purdy, who might not even start the season. Like
that says all you need to know right there, though.
No, I have an even better one. Remember Bailey Zappi being a thing? Like
Mhm.
people like losing their minds to get Bailey Zappi cards. Like
Mhm.
that's how bad this draft class was. So do I think Prism next year, again, just football, I can't speak to the basketball draft class. Do I think Prism next year will be at least as expensive and maybe more? I do, because there's a
Mhm.
lot of quarterbacks that are going to be in the top 5 maybe. There could be 5 in the top
Mhm.
5, to be
Yeah.
honest. So, I mean, for that product, I could totally see it jumping up. But your overall point, Mike, it's absolutely true. I don't know, what certain cards were back in 2018, 2019, but if prices aren't, prices will go back to that pre-pandemic model for sure. I mean, and there's some argument that said it's even going below that. I mean, I've seen some content creators say that, they could see it dropping below those prices too. It's that's why we said, what, 2 weeks ago, stop calling cards investments. Stop it. Stop it right now. I mean, they're not.
And the Prism basketball next year too will be crazy because Victor Wembanyama is coming out. So like the basketball class this year was down too. Like that's the problem with the market though right now. Like we had the big inflation from COVID and like everything was going up. Like those days are done. We can all agree on that. But like in basketball, like one of the things I sports card radio talked about was Luca didn't make the playoffs, right? Like
Mhm.
Luca, who was kind of anointed the big hobby star, like has been underperforming. And LeBron James is getting older. Steph Curry and those guys played in the shadow of LeBron, so they never really became like that hobby driver.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody kind of pointed to Luca, but now Luca's not really becoming that. So like I feel like in football too, you had Tom Brady, and now Tom Brady's going to be gone. Like we're
Oh
all
man.
looking now. We do have Patrick Mahomes in football, which I think he's every bit of what Tom Brady was. Like he should drive the hobby, and
Mhm.
hopefully, I think you'll see more collectors. Like they were bailing on him though before
Yeah.
last year.
Yeah,
like
they were.
Yeah.
like I think collectors are finicky. They got used to being able to make really easy money, and if they can't make easy money, they're searching all over. They're taking the money from this to that to this to that, and there are still things. It's becoming the let's find the guy who's a hot player for a minute and try to make money on that, and like
Brock
you're
Purdy.
yeah, exactly Brock Purdy. So like you're losing the whole, even like if you're buying as an investment, you just want that quick fix so much now because you
Mhm.
got it during COVID and now it's not really there, but you're searching for it and you're just throwing money in all different directions. Does that make any sense?
It does,
Yeah.
and I'll say this too about football. I mean, Sports Card Dad did a good video on specifically football players dropping. What did he say? Like 40% from their highs. Justin Herbert was another one. Like people, his prices were always built in that he was going to win 7 Super Bowls.
Mm,
Like that was the problem. Like his prices started off a little bit low, but then when they stabbed Tyrod Taylor in the lung or whatever they did, and Justin Herbert became the starter and had a couple of good games right in a row, all of a sudden it went to, oh, he's Tom Brady. Like we need to,
mhm,
he might have 8 Super Bowls, so we're going to price accordingly. His stuff has to come down because he's been a good stat builder, but he hasn't. Have they even been in the playoffs? Did they go to the playoffs last year? Or was that the year that
Um,
Derrick Carr wrote on his card? I forget.
I think they
But
missed it last year.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
so at the end of the day, it's just,
the
I
fact that we
mean,
can't remember
we
says
can't
Enough.
enough.
Yeah.
remember says a lot. And when, no offense to the Chargers fans out there, but when have the Chargers ever been really that relevant? They're not a team. They get There are more away visitors at Chargers home
Mm,
games than Chargers fans. So I know I'm talking very specifically about Justin Herbert, but I think that's a kind of a microcosm of the entire hobby, because you had this guy, like you were saying, Mike, they just want to jump on this guy, anoint him as the next whatever, and then expect him to drive the hobby. Meanwhile, Patrick Mahomes was a sell last year. Like everyone was
mm,
out on him. It was very confusing. But I think it's because people couldn't buy his stuff cheap and hope to hope to 10x it, 15x it in 15 minutes like they could during the pandemic.
And Herbert was a COVID guy too. Like again, he's another guy like
Right.
Luka
That's a
and
good point.
Zion Williamson and Justin Herbert. Like they were all guys that were artificially inflated because of COVID. Like
Yeah.
clearly they're not worth what they were selling for at one point in time. So like,
remember Luca's
he's
base rookie was like a ridiculous amount of money in a PSA 10. It had like one of the highest pop counts of any card over a certain amount of
and
money. It was just absolutely
Sports
ridiculous.
Card Radio just showed that one sold for like what $45 or something like that in the
Yeah,
PSA
they're
10,
way down.
the base. Yeah.
Yeah,
Go
I
ahead,
think
Ethan.
I think you guys both hit the nail on the head with Justin Herbert. Like he's like, in my opinion, like the poster boy for everything that we're talking
Yeah.
about right now.
Yeah.
Like if you, and as much as you said, Joe, don't invest. Like if you invest, you can invest in like something like a Mickey Mantle card. But you're
Right.
But,
I think we all
that's
agree.
not. But
Yeah,
but
we
there's a
talked
difference
about
between
that
flipping
last
and
week.
investing, right?
Yeah.
And Justin Herbert is
A lot of the
he's
people that say
epitome.
invest are
Right.
talking more about flipping. They're not
Right.
talking
Right.
about a long-term investment.
Mhm.
Right.
Like you can put money in cards like that EP and have a probably a little more safe amount of money to come out of that 10 years down the road. But
Right.
people say invest, but they're really looking to quick flip.
Right. Someone like Mantle is, I think I use this example. He's like kind of a government bond, he's going to go, it's going to slowly go up, but it's never going to go down. Right. Where people want to buy these like high yielding, like super aggressive stocks and hope they zip up and then dump them really quick. That's Justin Herbert. I mean, that's those type of players. Brock Purdy this year, for God's sakes. I mean, so yeah, I agree though.
I think Brady's in that Mantle conversation. There are a handful of players that you can do that with, like their rookie cards and stuff. Like they're not gonna go up. You're not gonna be able to buy them today and flip them next week for more money. But if you hold them for 10 years, they're going to be worth more than they were when you bought them.
And Brady cards are going down, to be fair. I mean, they are. But I will say, if you're in the high end Brady stuff, it's going down like every high end card is going down. Modern to ultra modern high end. I look at the Brady's in my collection, and I've lost a little bit of money, but not anywhere near 40%. Like they've held pretty steady. A little bit of a dip, but some weeks some of the cards go up, some go down. But I'm talking about cards for the most part under $500, where if you're looking at a PSA 10 Bowman Chrome, yeah, sure, that's going down because it was ridiculous. That hit the pandemic wave, and he won the Super Bowl that year. Like that was like, you knew his cards were overly inflated. So if you bought then, yeah, you're probably way underwater. But I mean, if you were smart about it and just look for those dips. And that's another thing with football too. There's people talk about the dip. This is generally now when the draft class comes out in a couple of weeks, when they start release, training camp, it's going to start picking up again.
Yeah, those, you're right, Joe. The high dollar cards are what really took a hit, and that's because they were way overpriced. Like it just got out of control with the amount of money people were paying. Like, was a Michael Jordan PSA 10 rookie card ever worth $700,000? No. Like they're not like it's a really limited set. Yeah, it's hard to get a 10.
Rare. Yeah.
I don't know what the pop count is, but it's not like 5, So like, yeah, people just went too crazy with that upper end stuff. And, I'm not sitting here saying that like everything in the hobby is falling down around us and it's Armageddon. It's just, there has been a huge correction in the pricing on the upper end. And that's because there was a huge mispricing on the upper end to begin with. But I mean, overall, things are contracting a little bit though.
That when I heard about the burst, that's what I was thinking. Like everything around us is falling and caving in. That's when I think of that. But as far as the correction, yeah. But yeah,
and the people that came into the hobby with the money that bought all that high end stuff at the inflated price, they bought it, sold it, and got out. I mean,
absolutely.
Those people aren't here anymore, so there's not as big of a market as there used to be for someone buying a PSA 10 Bowman Chrome Brady or the contenders, or the 101, Prism Black or whatever, Justin Herbert. Those people aren't as prevalent in the hobby because they saw the stuff is starting to come down. They got out of it.
And those
So you
people
have-
weren't really part of the hobby.
Right,
anyway.
exactly. They
Mhm.
were there to make money, and they made their money most likely,
Mhm.
or they got in at the wrong time if they're really bad at investing cards. Jeff Wilson, and they're holding the bag. I mean, hey, he paid $800,000 for a Michael Jordan rookie card, did he not?
It was a
I don't
star
remember.
rookie, yeah.
But I
Wasn't it 100,000
no,
or something like that?
he paid a ridiculous amount for a Fleer. I
Oh,
forget
okay.
exactly. Yeah.
I don't watch enough of his content to really know.
Oh, neither do I. I watch Sports Card Radio.
Oh, okay.
Who then shows some of his big misses. But yeah, he
I had
bought
a lot
he
of
bought a
those.
yeah. But those people are either way underwater or they made their money and got out. There's it's not as prevalent with the folks buying the high end stuff anymore.
It's kind of crazy too, though. Like I've been paying a little attention to the baseball card market, and like a guy has a good game or two, and all of a sudden his card is shooting up. And like Wander Franco is a good example. Like he was all the hype last year, and then he's not any good. So like his cards are worthless. Now starts off the season hot, and oh my gosh, he's like the number one darling again. And Julio
Right.
Rodriguez was supposed to be the darling, but now he started off slow, so now nobody wants him. And who's they got? Jared Kelenic, is that his name?
He's killing it. Yeah,
he's crushing some home runs.
Yep.
Now all of a sudden, he was a guy who was supposed to be something, and now but then he was terrible. But now, he's great. Like it's
Yep. That's
as long
baseball.
time collectors, like it's kind of funny, like how quickly the stuff changes now. Like we've talked about that many times, but like that is the big difference in the hobby now. Like, and I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but like it just how quickly players shoot up and how quickly they drop down based on what's going on, like in a little subset of games. Whereas before it was like at least a season worth of how they were playing, but now it's a week. So
that's kind of why I never liked fantasy baseball, because it was like every day a player was either the best player in baseball or the worst player in baseball, and I just couldn't keep up. It sounds like cards are the same way. People are buying these cards because someone hit one home run, and it's like they're the next guy, and then they sell them 2 days later. It just that's too much for me. That's week to week with football is crazy enough. Day to day with baseball, I couldn't even imagine.
Do you have any of those guys? Do you have a lot of Wander cards?
I do. I have a Jared Kelenic number to 100. That's a Mojo refractor.
Why are you not selling that card?
It's on my store, bro.
Oh, okay. So
right
anybody looking for that, hit up EP's store. He's not Panther 27 though. That's that guy.
That's me. That's me.
Yeah.
Panther
You won't find any
right
baseball in there.
No baseball there.
Actually, do I? I have a hockey card. I have a random hockey card. Yeah,
how do you have a hockey card?
It's like a $10 hockey card. I have no idea.
Where did you get a hockey card?
I had like a stack of this many hockey cards, and there was one. I must have bought a pack randomly and was like, oh, look at that.
Wow.
Upper Deck. I think it's Upper Deck. From like 20 years ago.
You don't even know what the card is.
Nope, no idea. It's I know what it's an SP Authentic.
Okay.
And what's the rookie? Is it Rookie Watch? What are the
Future Watch?
Future Watch, yeah, of someone.
I had a couple of the young guns out of regular Upper Deck that I've been selling on eBay too. Like,
they're really popular. People like that.
Yeah, like I had random cards. I don't even know who the players are, but
that's like
I've
when
sold
I
a couple for like $10 to $20.
I had that random couple of packs worth of Skybox Premium basketball. For some reason, I got one of those That's Jam or whatever inserts that was like a $50 card. What in the world is happening? It's fun what you will scope out when you're digging through boxes 30 years old.
All right, guys, we'll wrap it up there for this week. That was a pretty good chat, and we'll see you next week.
See you, boys.
Adios.